Hello everybody and welcome to the writing classroom. You've come from far and wide. Some of you are in Scotland, some of you are in Anglesey and Malaysia, and you're here and we're together. Some of you are in Lascelles in Birmingham. You are all welcome. I know you're ready to write and I'm ready to teach you. And together we are the word wizards, the jolly jotters, and actually your writing has already impressed me. You really are quite remarkable. Now, if you've not met me before, my name is Mrs. C. And together we are the live learners. And over time we build super sentence stacking writing that we can share and read across this global classroom. I'm really excited to teach you today, but there's a lot to do today because there is so much to celebrate. Now, before I do the celebrations, I just want to say this. We are working at speed. And some of you had to pause me just to do a little bit of catching up, and that's fine. But what you'll notice as we work together, we'll get quicker and we'll get slicker. Well, we've got our own little jingle and we know how it goes. Well, you might know how it goes better than I do. Pens up, think at pace, jot quick, writing's ace. And we're going to have flames coming off our pens and pencils because our brains are going to be whirring. We're going to catch all that language. Mrs. C is going to show you how to be a good writer, and together, all together, across the whole world, we'll write an amazing Christmas story. Our Christmas story is going to be called My Christmas Star, and we're all going to play our parts. Okay, who and where am I going to do some celebrations? Well, I've got 4 celebrations today, so get ready. I want to give a big whoop and shout out to a teacher at Forest Park in Sales, south of Manchester. This teacher is up on it. They've got a thinking side and a writing side. I love those teachers with a little bit of spark. Doesn't matter how tired they are ready to work in unison with me, quick and slick. That's amazing from Forest Park. A big shout out to St Mary's in Chiddingfold and Miss Clark there yesterday. You must have had the experience lesson of dreams and deep admiration for your zone of relevance here, all this sorting of language. You're going to be well placed to have your writing zing off the page. It doesn't take much to have me zinging with excitement. Okay, now, Highcliffe Primary School. IO. This is stunning. And you get a special mention from Mrs. C, IO, because you have a well-organised thinking side and there are tons of words in your vocabulary vault. But more than that, IO, do you know what you did for me last time we met? You deepened the moment. You didn't plot push. You didn't need me to model something for you. You put in your full stop and you didn't change what we were talking about. You added more information. You went deeper on the idea we are on. I'm just going to read that deepen. We just landed our simile, comparing Jasmine to a star. And then you added in this absolute, well, golden nugget, I'm going to call it. She always brightened up his day. Oh, Io, that is absolute heartburst. Now, who is on my super sentence stack for our My Christmas Star story? Well, the first person is a mum. Her name is Amy. So it's actually not mum's work, but mum Amy Bickford has sent her child's work in, and I just want to look at that precise verb zipped. Oh, for moving so quickly and swooping and swirling. Oh, I'm a little bit overexcited. Leighton who's at Wolford Primary in Class 5. Look at how the contrast between Jasmine's brightness, but Dad was waiting, lonely and cold in the gloomy rain. Oh, Leighton, he's brilliant. And Arush in Year 6 at Bourne Hall Primary. Look at this. Look at what he drops before the star. Pulsing star, illuminating and shimmering. Oh, I can't stay away for too long when I teach you guys. You are just wonderful, and I'm on the lookout today to see who I'm going to celebrate on Friday. I don't see you tomorrow, it's an experience day, but I see you again on Friday. So make sure your work gets into me. Now, I know some of you might be ready, but we need everybody to be ready. I need you to mark up your double page spread and look on the left side for your thinking side. I need 2 lines created there to make our 3 chunks. And then you need to create 2 word banks there so that we can collect all of these words in our vocabulary vault. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to get ready. Absolutely brilliant. So we're all ready. We've got our vocabulary vaults marked up, and we're going to collect words that are going to help us prior to writing. Now, to get us going, we need to look at our map. We work with a slow reveal map, and today we are on this second plot point. I'm marking this plot point as this is Jasmine's story. And now we're going to watch a clip where Jasmine is a little bit disgruntled. You know, it's not as tragic as sad and desperate down here, but she's a little bit fed up. So that's -3. So now what we're going to do, everybody, this isn't on for long. We are going to watch plot point 2. Now, before we watch it, I'm going to tune your looking in really closely because there's only a short amount of time. And as you look closely at it, I want to see if you can notice this symbol on Dad's work phone. It gives us a clue to his job. Are you ready, my astute watchers? Off you go. Okay, so today we've got 3 steps to success. You're going to be under my writing wing. I'm going to hold you tight and I'm going to help you out. So what are our 3 steps to success? Number 1, top of the charts, we're going to be working with contracted forms. And I'm going to explain what they are, and we're going to gather new ones and use certain ones in our writing. Secondly, we're going to build some questions, and we're going to have questions that are dropped into dialogue. So there's a real challenge there. And finally, we're going to finish with adverbs. And these are going to give clues to the reader about how Jasmine is feeling. Okay, come with me, everybody. I need you to be in a comfortable writing position. I need your brain to be switched on and excited. And this is where we're going to start. I'm going to give you some ideas, and then you're going to chat with your friends. We all know about chatting, don't we? It's when we chat and jot, and it comes together as chatting. Okay, so I'm now in the first word bank thinking about actually adverbs. I want to build something in here very cleverly that I'm going to mirror later. So she comes out of school and she is really excited and particularly excited to give Dad the flyer about the talent show. So I'm thinking now about how she hands over the flyer. So I'm going to write this word down. I'm just going to change the colour of my pen there. Eagerly. She's really eager. So that is like, we can feel the emotion there. I want to think about an adverb about speed, you know, because she like thrusts it really quickly. I'm going to write down, it's a really clever word, this, vigorously. It's kind of high energy. It also captures quickly, eagerly, vigorously. But I'm going to think now also about a how phrase with excited verb, with energetic verb. Energetic. Oh, Mrs. C, please be a brave speller. You must always do that. You must never stop your flow. And then you can go and check it. With energetic verb. Okay, they're my 3 ideas. I'm going to send you off now to chat. I'm not going to give you long. I'm going to give you exactly 45 seconds. Chat and put some ideas in Word Bank 1. Oh, hello everybody, welcome back. My friend Grandma Fantastic came to visit and she unplugged my computer and put the kettle on. Oh dear me. Well, I'm glad you're here and we're going to pick up where we left off. Contracted form. Now, contracted form is chatty. You tend to use it in dialogue. It's not very formal, it's more informal. Now, what is contracted form? It's when we take 2 words in the English language and we push them together. And as we push them together, over time, why would we want to do that? Because we're talking so fast and we're chatting so quickly. And when we push them together and drop a letter, we put in an apostrophe to show the drop letter or letters. Now, my interesting fact I was going to tell you, in Shakespearean times, if there were 2 letters dropped, they'd put in 2 apostrophes. But over time, it has become 1. So I'm going to think of 2 words that we can push together. And I want you to notice if they are positive or negative. My first 2 words are it and is. I know they could be pushed together. We can push it and is together and make its. Put in the apostrophe to show the drop letter. I'm going to show you now 2 words that when you push them together, you actually drop 2 letters. Look at this. I and will. When you push them together, we drop the W and the I, but we only use 1 apostrophe. I'll be at the party later. Look at this. Can and not. And look at this. Are and not. What I'd like you to do for me is push can and not together and push are and not together. And see if you can add in your chotting 4 more contracted forms. Off you go. Okay, teachers, it's kind calling out. Make sure your class are being kind. And what you're going to do is, if you've got that idea, you tick it off. If you haven't got that idea, you add it on. I'm going to give you 1 minute, 30 seconds to gather as many contracted forms as you can. But I want you to notice, please, that some of them are smiley face. It is a wonderful day. I will be going to the party. Or lots of contracted forms that have the second word not create negative contracted forms. How many can you collect? Off you go. Wowzers, aren't you good at that? So many contracted forms. Now, we are going to move to the writing side. And what I want you to do is watch Mrs. C very closely, particularly as I let you look inside my mind. You're going to see my beautiful thinking. You're also going to see words that I might reject and not have in my writing. You're going to see me think out loud the process, and you are going to work, when I've finished, under the wing of my scaffold. You can have your own ideas, but there are certain things that are in your vocabulary vault that I want you to include. Okay, so we're opening up plot point 2, and I'm going to actually start with this conjunction here, as. I'm now going to drop in, rather than Jasmine's name, so I still hold third person narration, but I'm going to drop in a pronoun, she. As she handed him the flyer, as she gave him the flyer, handed is better actually, as she handed him the flyer. I don't mind what you write there, but you've got to have the passing over of the flyer. Now, I'm going to look at my adverb bank and my phrases here because I want that enthusiasm and excitement. As she handed him the flyer cheerfully. Well, that's good. As she handed him the flyer excitedly. Oh, what about this? As she handed him the flyer with great gusto. Yeah, I love that. With great gusto. Oh, a little bit of alliteration in there. For the talent contest, so the reader knows what's happening, it's really important when we watch a film. We've got to do cues to the reader who hasn't watched the film so they can really visualise it in their mind for the talent contest. I'm going to add some more information on now. It's something that she says, but she almost doesn't. She blurts out her inner thoughts. She thought aloud. That's what I'm going to write. She thought out loud. She instantly thought. She thought aloud. And then I'm now going to drop in what she says. So I'm going to introduce this properly. I'm going to use a comma, and then I'm going to put in some inverted commas. This is what she actually says in that inverted comma mark there. Dad, notice this. I'm going to use a contracted form. Dad, it's brilliant. Dad, aren't you listening? Dad. Oh, what about this? What about if I push is and not together? Dad, and I'm going to just put it here so you can see me pushing it together, isn't, drop the O, put in an apostrophe. Dad, isn't this great? Question mark. And then close off the talking. As she handed him the flyer with great gusto for the talent contest, she thought out loud, Dad, isn't this great? Now your writing challenge is to give me an adverb or an adverbial phrase that shows her excitement. And I want you to drop in some dialogue that has a contracted form. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Off you go. Well, you are speedy, aren't you? Well done. I can't wait to read your writing. We're now moving to learning chunk 2, and we're in our first vocabulary vault. And this time we're going to be thinking about questions. Now, we're going to be thinking about questions in 2 ways. We all know the important punctuation mark for a question, don't we? Good. I'm just going to put that there on the page so we don't forget. Okay, so let's have a little think about the 2 ways I want us to gather words. In the first department, we're going to gather words that begin with the letter W, and there are many words that begin with the letter W that get us into questions. My 2 ideas are what and when. There are other words that can get us into questions that don't begin with W. I love the 3 that rhyme. They're modal verbs: would, should and could. And there's a couple that begin with the letter M, may and might. I always remember them as a group of 5. Would, should, could, may and might. You might remember them like that as well. I'm going to write one of those down. Yes, let's write down might. But there are other words, like can. Can I go to the concert, Dad? Might this be a good idea, Dad? What do you think? When will you get off the phone? Well, there's lots of ideas there to create questions, but before we create the questions, let's get a good bank of words. You are jotting. Off you go. I challenge you to get 8. Okay, my lovely, kind call-outers. We're going to gather more in our vaults. Remember to audit and add. And can you put your words in the right places? And will you work quickly? And are you ready? Oh, what am I like with all my questions? Off you go. Oh, well done, sir and miss. There's fire coming off your pens as you gather in all those ideas. Oh, I am proud of you. Take a little bow. Okay, We are now moving to our second vocabulary vault, and we need to collect words that are in a synonym family. They mean the same as asked. This is a really important word today because we've got questions in our story. Now, I'm going to use the shadometer to help me because I want to gather synonyms in a family, but I want to think about the intensity of them, and I'm going to turn up the intensity so I get the right word for the job. I don't want to go too high, I don't want to go too low. I just want to get the right, precise word. And actually, I might collect words that are going to work really well. So here's my shader meter, and I'm starting as a stimulus with the word asked. Other words that mean that, but actually I want to lace it with this sense that Jasmine desperately wants to go to the talent contest. And she needs her dad to take her there and to help her. And the word I'm going to write is requested. Oh, that's a good word. Another word is pleaded. Oh, I like that word. Another word is implored. Right up there, implored. I think you could come up with some more in the gaps. Or another thing you could do is add a adverb on. She said desperately, desperately. There's a rat in desperately. That's how I remember that. I'm quite a brave speller. I've got lots of tricks in my mind to help me. Oh, off you go, everybody. I want you now to chat and jot, which means I need you to jot and put all of your ideas in the second word bank. Off you go. Okay. What I want you to do now is do some kind calling out. Be kind. Teachers, you need to be up and excited and gathering their ideas. And this is how it goes. If somebody says urged, like me, and you haven't got it, you can write that down. It's our word now, and we've shared it today in learning. But if you've got pleaded, you can tick it off. You are audit and adding now as your teacher collects your ideas. Off you go. Oh, brilliant ideas. Okay, we're going to move to writing side. You're going to watch Mrs. C closely. You're going to look inside my mind as I write. And now we're going to craft up a sentence that includes a question. There's almost like this mountain sense of questions, but we also want the reader to be certain that Dad, at this moment, you know, we all noticed his job, didn't we? He's a mobile mechanic, and those calls can come in at any time when people break down on the road, and his phone goes. And that's what I'm going to start with. In fact, you can borrow this if you want to. Ring, ring, ring. That's a clever way to do that, actually. Kind of the power of three, onomatopoeic sounds dropped in there. It was work calling. It was work calling. Him again. Again's good, isn't it? Because it then shows that Jasmine has to put up with this a lot. I'm going to drop in again here. Ring, ring, ring. It was work calling him again. I'm wondering if I could put a word before again to really emphasise it happens a lot. I mean, again's good, but could I really hit it home to the reader? Was calling him once again. That'd be good. It was work calling him yet again. I'm going to do a yet. Yet again. Now I'm going to put in another Jasmine question. And I'm going to show you, because I want you to do exactly the same. I want two questions back to back. I want one question that uses one of your W words and another question that uses one of these different question words. So this is a double question moment. I'm going to start a new line because Jasmine's going to talk. Drop in the inverted commas to show she's talking. Now, what, where, why? I'm going to choose that word. Why? Why are you not listening? This is an interesting contracted form. Why? You might say, aren't you not listening? You put the are and the not together. You show the drop letter with the apostrophe. Why aren't you listening? And the you changes position. Oh, the English language. Oh, it gives us lots of things to learn. Look at my question mark. Look where it lives. It snuggles up inside the speech marks. Oh, really clever. Why aren't you listening? That's question one. I need two questions. I'm going to choose can. Can I go, Dad? Oh, actually, look at this. I don't need to close the question with there because I'm going to carry on with a double question. Make sure you don't get tricked like that. So here we go. Why aren't you listening? Keep talking, Jasmine. Don't close the speech marks. Can I go, Dad? The question mark goes here, and now I can put in my inverted commas. The double question. Just so the reader knows who's saying it. She asked. She requested. Not quite right. She begged. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, I'm glad I've got some ideas here. Ring, ring, ring. It was work calling him yet again. Why aren't you listening? Can I go, Dad? She begged. I want from you two questions. Two questions where we can feel Jasmine's urgency and finish it off with an alternative for asked. Off you go, everybody, my remarkable writers. Okay, we are now moving to learning chunk 3. And I want you to move with me. I want you to be certain where we're gathering our ideas. And the more ideas we have in our vault, the more options we have when it's time to write, the more choices we have, and the different places we can go. Now, we are going to be collecting verbs, but we're going to be collecting verbs of a certain type. They're going to be verbs on the move because we need Dad to move now. He's going to take the call. And as he takes the call, I want the reader to get a sense that the call being taken is him pulling away from Jasmine at the very moment she needs her questions answered. You know, he's torn. He's got to answer his work calls. You know, people are desperate and they've broken down. That's important too. But, you know, the impact of that. And we need to now have the right type of words, and we're going to build what's known as a phrasal verb. We take verbs and we take some prepositions and we kind of direct the movement further. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So, if I take a verb, and I'm thinking about Dad now, Dad taking the call. If Dad strode, you know, or if Dad spun, or if Dad swung, or strolled. Look how I can turn this into a phrasal verb by placing him more accurately in the environment. He strode off, he spun towards, he swung away, he strolled on. Now, I'm going to give you quite a hard chotting challenge. Your writing is operating at a high level, so I know you can do this. You can borrow the off, the towards, the away, and the on. They're yours. You've got them anyway. But I want you now to take that second part, off, towards, away, and on, and think, are there other verbs that could go before these words to describe what Dad does? Come on, chotters, off you go. I have been friends with many mums and many teachers out there for a very long time, and we work in partnership all the time. And this kind calling out is a perfect example of how we go into partnership together, because now, teachers, you're going to be up, excited. You've got a big fat pen and you're going to write down our wonderful ideas. We're going to audit and add. You're writing them on your thinking side. And children, you're adding them to your list. Remember, if you've got turned away, you can tick it off. If you haven't got it, add it on. Off you go, everybody, kind calling out. Oh, great collection building there. Well done. Now we're moving to our second word bank. And really interestingly, do you know, when I watched the film, I know Jasmine is excited. I know she's really energetic and full of verve and gusto. But actually, when Dad's phone rang, there was a really slow closing of his eyes. You know, he does feel torn. I think he does feel guilty. You know, it's really quite difficult being a grown-up. Anyway, I digress. This is Jasmine's story. And we need to think about Jasmine here because he's taking the call. And she starts off with the positive adverbs. We've already written some in. We might have an adverb like excitedly, or we might have a phrase like with great gusto. But now we're going to pull it very precisely to -3. So we're going to collect different how adverbs that end in ly. Adverbs that have negative or sad face intent. So I'm thinking disappointedly. Now, has it got 1 or 2 P's? Disappointedly. It's got 2 P's. This is a good one. Begins with the same letter. Dejectedly. Now, they're my 2 ideas. I'm going to challenge you in chotting. Can you come up with 4? Off you go. Okay, kind calling out time. You're good at this. Teachers up, audit and add. Okay, we're going to do our writing. You're going to watch Mrs. C demonstrate the craft. You're going to look closely and you're going to look beyond my words because you've even got more than me to write your own. Teachers, you need to write in unison with me in perfect partnership so that your children have a model to lean on and choose and decide. Okay. We're going to start with a conjunction. We're going to start with a conjunction that shows things are happening at the same time. You can actually use conjunctions. You could use time adverbial phrases, actually. A good word to use is as. This means you can have one person do this, another person do this, and it's showing the reader it's concurrent. Now, oh, Mrs. C, the only problem with as is you've already used as in learning chunk 1. And you don't want to repeat yourself. That's not very good cohesion. So I've remembered that. I've used as before. You can get into that trap as a writer. You can overuse words if you love them. So, sorry as, you're over. Goodbye. And I need other words that mean happening at the same time. I could have whilst. I could have while. I could have at that moment. Oh, I quite like while. While, oh, I'm going to use a phrasal verb now. While he twisted towards the playground fence. While he strolled on into the horizon. While he turned away. Oh, I like that. While he turned away to take the call. That's good. While he turned away to take the call. Now we can have the happening at the same timeness. Jasmine. And then anything here now to show she's fed up. Jasmine could sigh. Jasmine could shrug. Jasmine could flop. Oh, Jasmine shrugged her shoulders. And then I'm going to finish with one of these negative adverbs. Shrugged her shoulders hopelessly. Gloomily. Oh, this is good. Disappointedly. Two P's, Mrs. C. Oh dear. While he turned away to take her call, Jasmine shrugged her shoulders disappointedly. If you've got 3 minutes to do that writing and you finish, why don't you do what AO did, which is, when you finished, you can deepen. You can't plot push. You've got to keep on this moment, but you could say more about how fed up Jasmine is. Off you go. Oh, you are good. You really are. I can't wait to read your work. I'm going to read mine back now, just to be certain. As she handed him the flyer with great gusto for the talent contest, she thought aloud, Dad, isn't this great? Ring, ring, ring. It was work calling him yet again. Why aren't you listening to me? Can I go, Dad? She begged. While he turned away to take the call, Jasmine shrugged her shoulders disappointedly. Now, I'm not going to see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, your teachers are going to take you on a journey, an experience, where you're going to look closely at the concept of time. Do children have more time than adults? Do adults work too hard? There's a lot to talk about. And what your teachers are going to do for me and mums and dads, absolutely everybody, you can get your work into me and I'll find it. If you hashtag it Mrs. C or hashtag it live lessons, I'll definitely find it. You can send it to me on Insta. That's what the cool kids call it, Insta. You can send it to me on Twitter. You can send it to me on Facebook. I will find it. And you might find yourself on Friday on Mrs. C's celebration wall. Now, I'm going to go. Mrs. Grandma Fantastic wants some help with the Debenhams website. She doesn't really realise where she is in the queue. So I'm ever so busy and I'm going to have to leave you now, and I'll see you all again on